welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are making a carrot cake inspired sourdough loaf. This will be a same day recipe, but you can always cold proof and then bake the next day. So you will start with 150 grams of active sourdough starter, 350 grams of warm filtered water. If you are going to do a cold proof, I suggest you use 100 grams of active sourdough starter and maximum of 125 grams. I've noticed if I use 150 grams and I cold proof, this dough tends to get really big in the refrigerator overnight because of the sugar. So here I'm adding 50 grams of sugar, mixing it with the water and starter, and then I add 500 grams of flour, 10 grams of salt, and 3 grams of cinnamon. You can also add some nutmeg, some ginger, or any other warm spices that you like. I don't really like nutmeg now as an adult, so I don't add that, and I didn't feel like it needed it either way. It came out perfect. I love this recipe so much. So now you will mix everything together, making sure that there are no huge pockets of flour left over. If you are someone who doesn't like the tangy flavor on your sweet sourdough loaves, one tip is to bake it the same day. You don't have to do a cold proof, but if you do a cold proof, it'll get more of that tangy flavor. So a way to avoid it with your sweet loaves is to just bake it the same day. You can also use a sweet starter, but that's another topic for another day. So now that you have your dough mixed together, you wait 1 hour. This dough will be stickier since it does have sugar and the cinnamon. This is what your dough will look like, and now we let it rest for an hour. And after an hour, you want to perform your first set of stretch and folds. On the first set, I will not be adding any inclusions because I am working on strengthening the dough just a little bit before adding anything to it. So I'm just pulling up the dough, folding it over, going around the bowl, doing this a few times until the dough starts to pull back. And then I like to grab the dough and flip it over and then do some gentle slap and folds. This helps strengthen your dough. You don't want to overdo it, especially because this dough is stickier. It can tear easily. So as soon as you see that the dough is smooth and keeping its shape, you want to stop and let it rest for 30 minutes. And now on to the second set. I am adding 2 grated carrots and some pecans. And I do crush up the pecans a little bit, and then I go ahead and stretch the dough and fold it over. You can add walnuts, raisins, or anything you want on your carrot cake loaf. As long as you don't overdo it, your loaf will be perfect. You can see that I'm just sprinkling the inclusions, grabbing the dough and folding it over. That way I have inclusions everywhere. I do this going all around the bowl until the dough starts to resist, and then I like to flip the dough over and I kind of like to shape it into a ball, having all of the inclusions under the dough. And that way everything can be on the inside and not everything is just on the surface when we bake our loaf. Now you wait 30 minutes and you do your third set. On this third set, I add just a tiny bit more of inclusions right on top, and then I stop and I continue to do the stretch and folds without adding any more inclusions. I just wanted this part of the dough to have inclusions, and now I will just do the stretch and folds and a few slap and folds, very gentle, and then I will let the dough rest for 30 minutes and do the fourth set. I grated 4 carrots and about 100 grams of pecans, and I added half of those inclusions during the stretch and folds, and then the other half I put it during the lamination phase. So now on the fourth set, I am only doing coil folds, being very gentle. You can see that the dough is starting to rise, it's getting fluffy. With the 150 grams of starter and the warm water, your dough will rise fast. So keep an eye on it. That way you can bake your loaf the same day if that's what you're going for. And now you can see here I have half of the inclusions and I'm adding cinnamon to it. And then I decided to add some brown sugar to it. The brown sugar was about 30 grams, and I just like to mix all of this together, and then it made the perfect inclusion mix for the center of the dough. It honestly made it so good, and it wasn't too sweet. Even though we added sugar to the dough itself, it didn't taste like a super sweet loaf. I also made a cream cheese filling or topping, and I added it to a slice of the sourdough, and oh my gosh, it tasted exactly like a carrot cake. So here you can see that the dough is ready. It's nice and domed. It's not sticky to the touch. It's pulling away from the bowl, and it's nice and jiggly, and it feels aerated and just super fluffy. And you can see here I didn't use any flour on my counter or on my mat. I am gently laminating the dough, trying to make it into a rectangle, and I am going to add the inclusions here in the center. I'm going to sprinkle them very spaciously, not too close together. If you put your inclusions too close together, you will have huge holes where the swirl is, and it'll kind of separate, like the dough won't rise properly, and you'll see those swirls not really like part of the loaf, if that makes sense. Like you'll see like the swirl kind of detaching itself from the loaf. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but just try to keep it like a thin layer for any of the inclusions you ever make. A thin layer goes a long way. And now I am going to fold over the dough towards the center and then fold the other side over. I'm not going to add any inclusions to this left side of the dough because the right side already has some, and if I put more onto the left side, it'll be too much, and that's when the dough will start to like not rise properly, if that makes sense. But I will add some of the inclusions here, and then I'll try to roll it up nicely. When you do this step, you want to be very careful, work nice and slow, but also at a good pace. That way all of the inclusions stay on the inside, and just go ahead and roll it up. And then I like to bring the top backwards into the dough. That way I can create a little bit of tension. And then I decided to do a few push and pulls because the dough just felt a little bit too loose. But just a few little push and pulls made a huge difference, and I felt the tension on top of the dough. You want to make sure that you stop if you start to see the dough tearing. And I did flour my banneton and put the dough into it. Just because the dough has sugar, I didn't want it to accidentally stick to the liner. So now I go ahead and put it into the refrigerator for about an hour or two whenever you want to bake it. If you want to do an overnight cold proof, go for it. But this day I decided it was going to be a same day loaf. So I put it into the refrigerator for an hour. I did dust a little bit of flour right on top. And then I preheated my oven to 450 degrees with my Dutch oven inside. And I decided to make like an X for the scoring because I wanted it to open up and just like the flavors and the scents. I don't know, I felt like this was the perfect score for it, and it was literally perfect. I baked this loaf for 45 minutes with a Dutch oven lid on the entire time. You can take the internal temperature of your loaf. It has to be between 205 to 210. For some people, it can take up to an hour for this to reach that internal temperature. It depends on your oven. So make sure you take the internal temperature. You don't want your loaf to come out gummy. Even though it looks fully baked, it can have gummy spots. So this is the end result. Look at how beautiful. This was the perfect loaf. It'll be perfect for Easter if that's something you're looking forward to making. And I paired it with this cream cheese icing. I used a block of cream cheese, some powdered sugar, and a little bit of vanilla paste, and it was delicious. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.